Now we're going to look at creating our own interactive geometric objects, and we're going to use some dynamic software for that. There's several different software options out there, but my personal favorite is Geogebra, which you can get to by typing www.geogebra.org. Currently, I'm using the Chrome browser, so if you're using a different browser, you might see some variations. One of the amazing things about Geogebra is it is open source software. It is available for free. It's kind of like some of the, Wikipedia is open source and it's created by other people. GeoGebra is the same idea, but it's geometric software. But it's also used for algebra, calculus, statistics, and some of my cool 3D things that I've done on here as well. So you can use this for your other classes, and maybe later I can show you how to do that. But right now, we're going to start with geometry, where it's exceptionally powerful. Again, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, it is available for your mobile devices, PC download, Apple download as well, and tablets and iPads. But we're going to use the web version, which is right here, which is Start GeoGebra. This materials version takes you to something called GeoGebra Tube, and it shows you all these materials that other people have created. In fact, if you watch my videos, you've seen some of the materials I've created that are available on there as well. So let's go ahead and start GeoGebra. And we are in geometry. And actually, honestly, you're almost always clicking on the geometry screen because you want to see the objects. That's where you see the objects. The algebra kind of gives you more of the definitions, and there'll be times we'll be using this. I hardly ever use a spreadsheet. That might be useful more in an algebra classroom. Probability, maybe in a probability classroom. 3D graphics is pretty cool, and I haven't really used the cast. So let's go ahead and click on geometry. Now, for your screen, it probably came up a little different than mine. I thought I turned it off, but it seems to be showing up. So first of all, I'm going to click on the little triangles to the far right. That's a style bar. And you probably see this X and Y axis. You can have it there, but sometimes points get stuck to it. And I'm sure there's a way to unstick them, but we don't need this. So let's toggle that off. So we want a blank work screen. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and create a point. So if I click on a point, see these are the different tools. The move, that's the one you'll use a lot when you're trying to click on objects. And here's points on an object. You can attach or detach a point, probably if it's connected either to an axis or something else. I use this one a lot, intersecting points, midpoint. We won't be using this at all in geometry. And then we will be using the segment tools and the line tools, and even perpendicular and parallel. We may or may not be using some others, but another tool I need to highlight is this compass tool. Don't worry, I will highlight it every time we use it. So first of all, let's do a point. Okay, so you click anywhere, there's your point. Now your point may not have a name, and if it doesn't have a name, go ahead and click here on the options and click on labeling and say new points only. Yours might be set on automatic, because if it's set on automatic and I click a point again, here we go. See how it doesn't have the point? Now I can undo that. I don't need the point, or I could actually add it. And let me go back to the options. I'm going to add the labeling to new points only. You don't want the labeling for everything because it can be kind of annoying. But I'm going to turn on the label for this point. So let me go ahead, and you can right-click Object Properties, and this comes up. This is a really handy screen, so you're going to want this up most of the time. I'm going to say Show the Label, which is the name. Okay, so now I have 2 points. Since I have 2 points, I can create a segment. I clicked on the segment tool up there. Then I clicked on my first point and my second point, and there's my segment. If I want to see how long this segment is, notice how I kind of automatically go to this arrow thing. Click on the arrow and then click on the object, and you see where you can show label. So I can put the name, but honestly that's pretty annoying. I like the value. So I can see how long my segment is. Do I need to see it? No, because in this exercise I'm going to create 2 segments that are the same size without measuring. So how do I do that? Well, we're going to use a virtual compass tool. But first of all, before I create my segment, I need a point to start it on. So here's my new starting point for my new segment. And I want it to be exactly the same size as AB, the same length. So what I'm going to do is use compass. And compass is a way of measuring from one point to the other. So I say, okay, how long is it? See how I have the circle centered on A to B. Then you bring it down until it centers on C and click. Now I can just click on point and put a point anywhere on the circle. Why do we use the circle for a compass? Well, it's a way of creating a whole set of equidistant points. Any point I put on here will be the same distance to C, from D to C as it is from A to B. I'll go ahead and click on my segment, connect these 2 points. Then the circle's kind of distracting. I'm going to hide it. And the way you could do that is I clicked on it with the arrow here and then show object, and that hides it. So you can see I can still have this point anywhere on that circle. And if I click on point C, that moves my segment. If I can move points A and B, but what if I lengthen points A and B? I can either go this way or that way, and my segment automatically lengthens on the bottom because that circle that's still there. So if I wanted to see that circle, let me show you. Click Algebra Descriptions. Actually, I don't want that one. View, Algebra. And you can see there's conic, so I can put the circle back. So when I make these points further apart or closer together, my circle changes because it represents a different lengths. So now you have created 2 congruent segments. I'm going to hide my conic again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test your segments by making sure I can move points A and B and that this automatically matches. And I should be able to move point C. I can also move point D, but the length doesn't change. So I shouldn't be able to change the length of the segment from point C and D. All I can do is change the position.